Crypto.com introduces a ton of upgrades to their platform at the same time that one of their team members has now joined the US Digital Assets Market Subcommittee. This leads me to believe the company is looking to take a lot of market share in the US from their main competitor Binance, which could also fare very well for CRO. The Cronos chain is now partnering with gaming giant UBISOFT, who is exploring blockchain technology for their Web3 gaming, and the Crypto.org chain is now offering a 9% yield on CRO, up from 8.5% earlier this week, at the same time that 17 million CRO is waiting to be burned in the community wallet. All of this and more in today's daily market update. Now, hopping right in here with the news, you guys may be able to tell that I'm not in my regular recording setup. However, it is Sunday. This is the weekly CRO update, and there is plenty of news this week that I did not want you to miss out on. So for starters, we spoke earlier in the week about how a Crypto.com team member, Steve Humanick, has now become the newest member of the CFTC Digital Asset Market Subcommittee. So the subcommittee plays a pivotal role in providing guidance on issues that impact the integrity and competitiveness of U.S. markets, including regulatory challenges in the global marketplace, blockchain and Web3 development, tokenization of digital assets, derivatives, and more. And I think this is a very important thing for Crypto.com, the fact that they do have a team member on the CFTC at the same time that Binance, their largest competitor and the biggest global exchange, is in fact being sued by the CFTC over willful evasion of US laws and unregistered crypto derivatives products. And this specifically is very important here when you consider that earlier this year, Crypto.com actually released their derivatives products for US users called the up-down options feature. So basically, Crypto.com has introduced the first CFTC regulated crypto derivatives products, allowing users to legally trade options on their platform. The up-down feature is offered by Crypto.com/Derivatives North America, a CFTC regulated exchange. And I think this is a very key feature that will allow Crypto.com to gain market share in the US. And it does kind of show the different strategies between Binance and Crypto.com. I think that Binance did begin operating in a lot of countries without having complete regulatory compliance. And while that did benefit them and give them that head start or advantage, it is now kind of starting to turn over and bite them. While Crypto.com here has gone for compliance first and expansion second, something that is definitely playing to their favor in the US, which I do think is very important, as obviously this is one of the biggest investor bases and markets in the world. Now, this comes at a time here when we actually saw back in June that Crypto.com announced they were winding down their US institutional business. They cited limited demand from institutional customers in light of the current market landscape. And this actually came in June around the same week as crypto exchanges Binance and Coinbase were sued by the SEC. So now that we actually have Crypto.com, one of their team members here working with the CFTC, we could actually see them once again go ahead and potentially offer their institutional service in the future. Now, something I found very interesting here about the SEC lawsuit specifically versus Binance is that they were basically accusing them of allowing securities to trade on their platform, as the SEC believes that crypto is securities. Granted, this was before the recent XRP ruling, but the SEC has kind of taken the position that cryptocurrencies are securities and therefore they are susceptible to US and SEC regulations. And more specifically here is their staking as a service program. And this is also important when it comes to Crypto.com, because a very big feature we spoke about recently on the channel was their on-chain staking feature that is now available in the Crypto.com app. Essentially, you're able to stake either Solana for 3.74% APR, Polkadot for 10.5%, or ETH for 6.17% based on this image, and you are basically going through Crypto.com to stake on chain and earn daily rewards. Now, the catch here is if we actually go to the frequently asked questions and then take a look at who can participate in staking. So all verified crypto.com app users who are not citizens or residents of the following jurisdictions are eligible to use the staking feature. And number one here is the United States of America and its territories. So this shows you that crypto.com is very mindful of the SEC going after staking services. I believe that is why they did not launch it in the United States yet. However, I think that once there is more regulatory clarity, this is something we could see in the future. And that's very important here that they do, in fact, kind of have a team member sitting on the CFTC. They have the only regulated crypto derivatives product. And I do think that once there is more clarity, that we could potentially see on-chain staking in the United States crypto.com app, which I believe could drive a ton of users to their platform as people are looking to earn that passive income on their crypto. And for someone who's a little more crypto savvy, if you do use MetaMask, if you use DeFi, maybe you don't need to use crypto.com, but the whole point is they are trying to onboard the next wave of crypto users. And that is a very big learning curve to get into, on-chain staking. So if crypto.com can offer that service and capture a ton of new users, I believe that would fare well for the platform, as well as for CRO if they even added potentially some incentive, just like they have with the crypto.com Visa, where you get extra benefits for holding CRO. I mean, imagine if they offered something like holding a certain amount of CRO nets you an additional yield for your on-chain staking. Not saying that'll happen, but I do think it would be a very good idea. And there are a lot of ways for crypto.com to kind of direct users to actually hold CRO for additional benefits in the app. So that's why we look very closely at the growth of crypto.com. And now I do want to hop into the Cronos chain news. And the big piece of news this week is that UBISOFT, a traditional gaming giant, has now joined the Cronos ecosystem as a network validator. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the games that UBISOFT has made. And the big ones here that most people will know, if you're a gamer, if you have a kid that's a gamer, would be like Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, Watch Dogs, Legion. And where's the other one? And Far Cry, and the Far Cry series. So UBISOFT here is a very big gaming company. In fact, let's take a look at Ubisoft stock, which is actually worth about 3.44 billion in terms of that market cap. And yes, Ubisoft is a very big player in the gaming industry. Now, I think what's more important than Ubisoft actually being a validator of the Cronos chain is the fact here that Ubisoft continues its exploration of blockchain technology through its strategic innovation lab, whose mission is to anticipate the future and to help Ubisoft get ready for it by exploring the opportunities offered by innovative technologies, mainly being blockchain technology for Web3 gaming. So the big quote here for me, the big piece I took from the article is the Cronos ecosystem will greatly benefit from the expertise of the Ubisoft Strategic Innovation Lab when it comes to obtaining feedback on technology upgrades to support gaming use cases. We know that gaming is a very big area of growth for the Cronos chain, something they are definitely targeting on their blockchain, and something I do believe is going to be a key theme in the next bull run. The two big things I'm looking at is centralization, central bank digital currencies, and projects that are set to benefit from that. And the second one here is blockchain gaming. And that's why we do discuss Cronos Play on the channel here when we talk about Cronos sometimes. And this is their gaming engine that allows developers to basically plug in and begin building on this chain. So you can see here that it's actually fully interoperable with two gaming engines, the two biggest ones, as a matter of fact, the Unity and the Unreal Engine. And that's a very big deal that developers can actually take their game built on Unity or the Unreal Engine and basically transfer it over to the Cronos chain. So why build your game on Cronos? They have a roadmap here, features some of the builders that are in fact on Cronos Play at the moment, but the fact that the Cronos chain is targeting Web3 gaming, that they do have a Cronos Play, and now they've onboarded Ubisoft as a validator is a very big deal for CRO in my opinion. And I have said multiple times, I do think that whatever blockchain can really capture the growth of Web3 gaming and bring it to the masses will set to benefit greatly in terms of the actual adoption of the blockchain and therefore the adoption of the token. And CRO being the native token of Cronos for gas fees, that could be a very big deal for CRO and really drive up the demand for this token if Cronos does become home to some AAA games potentially made by Ubisoft. Now, I want to talk about the other blockchain that is powered by CROcoin, and that is the crypto.org chain. And the one thing I do want to talk about here is if I actually go over to the validators, is the fact that we are now seeing a 9% yield once again being offered on CROcoin. So the thing is here is that we actually saw the crypto.org chain nearing the 6 billion mark in terms of CRO delegated. And as that was happening, the APY was actually going down. And the reason being here is because you're simply sharing a bigger piece of your pie with more people, effectively meaning that now that we have actually seen it go down from about 5.9 bill to 5.3 bill, meaning that about 300 million CRO has actually left the crypto.org chain. This means that if you are still staking and stacking that CRO, that you are now earning a nice 9% yield. So it's kind of like it's kind of a weird, think of it as like, what's the word, a seesaw, okay? And the more people that are joining CRO is weighing one side down, and that means that your staking yield is also going down. However, if there are people leaving the ecosystem, that means your staking yield is going back up. So a very weird influx of how that works. But at the moment, the fact that 300 million CRO has been unbonded does in fact mean that you are now earning a 9% yield on your CRO. And if we actually take a look at, I want to find the staking rewards.com. Not staking rewards, staking rewards. Yeah, and I wanted to show you guys just to kind of put things in perspective, because I think it really paints the picture for how good a 9% yield is on CROcoin. I mean, we have ETH offering 5, Solana at 7%, AVAX at 7.5%, Polkadot at 14%, and Cosmos at 20 actually. Hedera's here at 6.5, but you can see for the most part that, earning a 9% yield on your CROcoin is very good, especially when you kind of, factor that in with the top 10 cryptos. 9% is definitely in that upper tier. So still a very strong yield for CROcoin in my opinion. Now, the other thing I do want to mention here is the fact that the CROcoin community pool wallet has now reached a major milestone of over 17 million CRO waiting to be burned, or upwards of $1 million US. And I'm a very big fan of CROcoin being burned. Obviously, the less CRO that is in circulation, the more valuable your CROcoin is that you are holding at the moment, and therefore more burns to bring more value to CRO holders, I think would be very good for the future price action of this token. And I spoke about this in, I believe it was Friday's video. I mean, let's talk about BNB coin in comparison to CRO, because I think that's a fair comparison considering they're both exchange tokens. They both power their own respective blockchains. And BNB token comes in here with a supply of 153 million. The Binance Smart Chain is third place in terms of total value locked, and the Binance Exchange is the biggest in the world, and they can have a token supply of 153 mil. I definitely believe that CROcoin could get down to a 1 billion supply and still self-sustain. And even if that did mean, drastically dropping the yield, even down to 1 or 2%, the price appreciation of a burn that big would far outweigh the staking yield in my opinion, and it would get you returns much faster as opposed to a yield. But at the moment, I still do really like CROcoin for the crypto.com Visa, and I do like the crypto.org staking yield, but I am definitely in the favor of bigger burns as time goes on. But a nice 17 million CRO removed from the flow completely is definitely, a nice start anyways to see that CROcoin supply finally make its way to the downside. Now, to wrap things up, I do want to take a look at the Cronos chain, sitting here in 12th place in terms of TVL at 335 mil. It's about 10 million behind Pulse Chain in 11th place, and about 100 million behind Ultron in 10th place. So pretty far off from getting itself back into the top 10. And I mean, at this time, Cronos has definitely kind of flatlined in terms of its value, but I think partnerships like the Ubisoft partnership, the Loaded Lions game, which is coming to Cronos in late August, which I will make a video about in the future, hopefully. I kind of just keep forgetting to, but I am planning to discuss that as we do get closer to that launch date there. Hopefully that can bring some total value locked back to the Cronos chain. Now, to wrap things up, I do want to take a look at the chart here, and CROcoin is coming back at a very interesting area of support in my opinion. So I'm going to actually remove the moving averages from the chart because those aren't important. I think the bull market support band is much more important, as well as the 5.5 cent range I have spoken about a lot on the channel. So going ahead and taking a look here at every time CRO has bounced off the 5.5 cent area. The first time we spoke about this was in mid-November, and it rallied from 5.5 cents about 40% up to 7.5 cents. Then in the new year, it came very close back down to 5.5 cents, rallying here over 70% up to 9.5 cents, but then actually getting rejected after it tried to top out above the bull market support band, and the candle actually wicking above the bull market support band, but then failing to close above it was the sell signal there. Now, once again, we can see that CRO did in fact bounce off 5.5 cents back in June, and at the moment is up about 13%, 13.5% from that bounce. So while CRO coin has been getting rejected at the bull market support band, and as it continues to get rejected here, that does in fact show me that CRO coin is by all means still in a bear market. The price action is not bullish until we can get above that level. However, 5.5 cents has made for a very strong buying opportunity, and therefore I am eyeing on CRO coin to make its way back down to that level, in which case I may consider taking another potential another potential trade, depending on where the bull market support band is and what the risk reward ratio is on that trade. But as always, I will keep you guys updated on what I am doing in the markets. Not financial advice, just what I personally am doing. But we can see here, based on prior history, that 5.5 cents so far has been a very successful trading area for CRO. So on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. You know what to do. If you made it all the way to the end, you are an absolute champion. Let me know in the YouTube comments down below and claim that champion status. I'm wishing you all an amazing Sunday, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.